And now, Move the Sticks with Daniel, Jeremiah, and Bucky Brooks.
Hey everybody, welcome to Move the Sticks, presented by the Ford F-Series. DJ, Bucky here, and Buck, this is a huge show we have today, but for those that are just checking us out for the first time, tell them how many times they can catch us on Move the Sticks.
Oh, they can catch us 3 times. We have the Takeaway Show on Sundays, then Tuesdays and Thursdays we have a mix of the audio pod. Thursday we also have the video pod, which you're catching us on today.
Yeah, a lot of content here, Move the Sticks. NFL.com/MTS video or NFL Now if you want to check the video show if you're listening to the audio version right now. Tell them what's coming up on today's episode.
Well, we reached the halfway point, so when you're at the halfway point, you need to give out some awards. So we got Midseason awards. We'll talk about the game of the week, break down the Chiefs versus the Cowboys, and we'll begin to start talking about the 2018 NFL Draft. Have a little preview.
Yeah, no question. Speaking of 2018 NFL Draft, maybe someone that could enter that draft going to be our special guest today, Alabama wide receiver Calvin Ridley, one of the best wide receivers in the country. He is this week's feature on NFL.com. You can read the story, NFL.com/Calvin Ridley. Going to get a chance to visit with him in just a little bit. Looking forward to that. But before we get there, big trade deadline this year. It's almost like Major League Baseball. A lot of action. One trade we did not have a chance to get to on the previous episode because it happened so late. Kelvin Benjamin, and kind of a surprising move, goes from Carolina to the Buffalo Bills for a 2018 third and 7th round pick.
Yeah, big shocker. I think it's a shocker on both ends. When you look at the Buffalo Bills had a need for a number one receiver. When I look at the stats, the running backs have combined for more receptions than the wide receivers. They don't have a true number one on their roster. They're trying to get by with Zay Jones and Jordan Matthews and some other guys. They needed someone that could command a double team. And Kelvin Benjamin, they get a big body playmaker, a guy that excels down in the red zone. Even though he's not necessarily a blazer, he has been a very, very viable deep ball threat. And so if you're the Buffalo Bills and you're trying to really expand what you do offensively, adding a big body that is familiar with the coaching staff and Sean McDermott and also the front office is something that you have to make a move to acquire.
Yeah, they know exactly what they're getting when you look at the coach and general manager and the familiarity they have with Kelvin Benjamin. I think down in the red zone he's going to be a big addition, a big help to Tyrod Taylor. All right, let's flip it over to the Panthers now and what they're going to do because this team started to play better. We've seen Kelvin Benjamin make some big plays, especially down in that red area. You take him out of this offense. First of all, why do you take him out of this offense? And second of all, where do they go from here?
You know, I think this is a big move. This is a move where I wondered for the last year or so when they had Kelvin Benjamin, Devin Funchess, even when they had Greg Olsen, they had big body. They had a basketball team on the outside, but they didn't have a burner. Listening to Marty Herney's press conference yesterday, he talked about this move was designed to get more speed on the field. Felt like they had two similarly skilled players in Funchess and Benjamin. They want to diversify the wide receiver core. Now, I want to go all the way back to when I worked under Marty Herney in Carolina. We went to the Super Bowl with Muhsin Muhammad and Steve Smith on the outside. He wants to probably get back to that recipe where you have a big body playmaker that can do the dirty work, but someone has to fill in to be the speed receiver. Maybe they can get that from Curtis Samuel. Maybe it's Russell Shepard. They want to go and do a little different thing to open up some run lanes because when you got two big bodies that are slow and Benjamin and Funchess, the safeties can crowd the box. Maybe they can get someone on the field, back one of those safeties up.
Yeah, Ed Dixon has been kind of an increasing big part of this offense.
Absolutely. He's filling in for Greg Olsen.
Being out, he's going to get more action even now. I think Curtis Samuel is going to be the key to this thing, getting him on the field, getting some explosive plays out of him. I always come back to what our good buddy Coach Billick said. Right? Want to have a basketball team.
Absolutely.
You want to have guys different. You want to have a point guard, shooting guard, a power forward. And when you look at the Carolina Panthers, they were a basketball team. They were the Pelicans. Just had a bunch
Boogie
of big,
Cousins, Anthony Davis, absolutely.
That's all they had, just a bunch of big dudes. So they kind of balance out a little.
And let's be honest, Cam had an MVP season when he didn't have Kelvin Benjamin. So maybe that is why the front office felt like he was expendable. They went to the Super Bowl with Ted Ginn Jr. and Philly Brown really occupying the main roles on the outside. Maybe they feel like Cam is actually better with less than more.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to follow how this Panther offense evolves through the second half of the season. Mentioned it a little bit earlier, though. For those that are listening to this on audio, we're getting ready to jump into some video, some XOs that we've cut to talk about some of these matchups. So if you're listening, you can catch this video. All you got to do is go to NFL.com/MTS video, and you can see what we're talking about here. Also, YouTube.com/NFL. Are you ready to hand out some midseason awards?
Oh, man, I love giving out awards.
All right, let's start here. We like to focus on rookies. That's what we do. We're draft guys. Let's start with the midseason Rookie of the Year. I think we got two candidates, obviously, Kareem Hunt with where he is in the league leaders in rushing, and then you look at Deshaun Watson where he is, league leaders in passing touchdowns. those are two obvious candidates.
Kareem Hunt deserves to be in the conversation because he really started the season with a bang. Came out the gates flying, is a terrific player, currently leads the league in rushing. And when I look at him on tape, it's his ability to find seams on the backside that has really perplexed defenses. Here against the L.A. Chargers, takes it to the front side. There is a huge hole on the backside.
Who's that safety getting ready to come?
Trey Boston should be filling this gap.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go to school?
I don't know where he went to high school at. He went somewhere in Florida in high school. That's where he picked up those things. Anyway, Kareem Hunt makes a move, goes, and puts it to the paint.
Almost basketball season. Go.
Almost basketball season for sure. Now, Kareem Hunt out the backfield is dangerous catching the ball. This is something that he did very, very well at Toledo. They've continued to feature him in this. A little rail route coming out the backfield. Alex Smith targets him, gets it to him. Nice catch. Natural hands. This is a complete player. He's one of those new school hybrid players that we're seeing in the backfield, a running back that has the skills of a wide receiver in the passing game. Kareem Hunt can do it all.
He's one of those guys, we liked him. We liked him in the draft process.
Didn't know if I was going to love him.
Didn't know if there was a love there. There is definitely love there.
Lots of love for
He's
Kareem
a legitimate
Hunt
candidate, not only for the Rookie of the Year, but even in the MVP race. And I think another guy that's in the discussion for both is Deshaun Watson. And when you get a chance to go back and study him against Seattle last week, Buck, I saw some of the creativity that Bill O'Brien has been able to use because of his quarterback's skill set. You're going to look at the formation that they have here. You're going to see a motion. This is Bruce Ellington's going to come into the backfield, and this is kind of a boomerang motion, and you're going to get really – it's kind of a triple option look here.
Absolutely.
You're going to fake the dive. Now he's got a pitch man on the boomerang motion. He's going to pump it to Bruce Ellington and then be able to work two-man routes down the field. So you're max protected. All this kind of eye candy, still you've got max protection, two-man route. Will Fuller runs a beautiful corner route and uncovers. Now, they ran this same look about 3 or 4 different times and ran some different route combinations off of it. Here again, down in the tight red zone, Bruce Ellington into the deep motion. He boomerangs back again. Deshaun Watson has a dive fake, and then you get a beat up front. They have somebody right in his face. It should be a sack. They've played it beautifully in Seattle. He somehow wiggles out of it and finds Miller in the end zone, who had gotten away from Bobby Wagner for a second, and makes things happen. So you can put the play design, and it works beautifully. And even when things break down in that play design, that's when Deshaun Watson can show you why he's special.
Been around a lot of quarterback coaches and offense coordinators in my time, and they all say that you want a quarterback that can make up for your mistakes as a play caller. Deshaun Watson is able to erase some of the mistakes that Bill O'Brien may make as a play caller because his athleticism allows him to buy time, and he's done a great job of playing with his eyes down the field and making those plays. Both rookies have been terrific. Kareem Hunt has been spectacular as a runner. Last year we saw Zeke roll to the rushing title. Kareem Hunt is well on his way to doing so. But what Deshaun Watson has done, I don't think any of us saw him doing this kind of stuff right away. I think he has to be the front runner for the award. He's been terrific.
You're going to go with Deshaun Watson as your vote then?
Yeah, I think Deshaun Watson has to get it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Deshaun Watson would win the award if the season ended today. There's a lot of football left. We'll see how this all carries on. One thing I love about him, by the way, most underrated thing about a quarterback, ball handling. 11 of his 19 touchdowns, when you break them down, off play action. He is so good with that and able to pull and manipulate linebackers and safeties with his ball handling. He's been outstanding. I think he should win the award as well.
Yeah, I think he's been terrific. I think what he's been able to do is really continue to do what he did at Clemson. And credit Bill O'Brien for doing some of the things that they've done at Clemson. We've talked about it privately. This offense is Clemson 2.0. They are running a college offense and having a lot of success, much like Kansas City is running a college offense and having a lot of success with Alex Smith.
All right, let's keep it rolling here now. We've got how about Coach of the Year? Who would you vote for, Coach of the Year?
I'm going to stay right here locally in L.A. I think the job that Sean McVay has done exceeds what anybody else in the league has done. When you look at what the Rams were a season ago and the conversation that centered around their two stars, Jared Goff and Todd Gurley, both of these guys were being miscast, labeled bust because they hadn't been productive in that final season under Jeff Fisher. Sean McVay has come. He's ignited this offense. He's put these guys in positions to have success, and this team is playing better. 5-2, leading the NFC West. Both of their young guys are terrific, and I would go on a limb and say that you could say that Todd Gurley might be in consideration as a dark horse MVP candidate for what he has done. He's been outstanding. This is a guy that we thought was going to tear up the league when he's at Georgia. Sean McVay has found a way to unleash him.
I think he's the best play caller in the NFL. He's done an outstanding job, and they're the biggest surprise for me in the NFL this year, the turnaround for the Rams. But my Coach of the Year, for the reasons I'm going to give here, Mike Zimmer with the Minnesota Vikings. when you look at a team that's down their top 2 quarterbacks, Sam Bradford's hurt. Obviously, Teddy Bridgewater, we knew about the injury that he was dealing with. So you go to Case Keenum as your number 3 guy, and you're rolling with him. And let's not forget Dalvin Cook, who was off to an unbelievable start. A rookie year, would have been a candidate for the rookie segment we just did. He's out for the year with a torn ACL. So your stud running back, you're on your 3rd quarterback now, and they still find ways to win each and every week with a dominant defense. Case Keenum playing the best football of his career, being very efficient offensively. I think Mike Zimmer's one of the best coaches in the NFL, and I think it's time he got some credit.
He should get some credit. I think Mike Zimmer is a John Wooden disciple. He believes in no whining, no crying, no excuses. Like, no matter what happens to the Minnesota Vikings, who's up, who's down, what's happening at quarterback, this is a team that continues to get it done, and they don't really complain about who's available. And so, yes, he definitely has a case for being the coach of the year because the Minnesota Vikings are well positioned in the NFC North, and they're doing it with a cast of characters at the quarterback spot.
All right, let's jump to the next award here, Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year is a tough one because this is one where you can just go down the stat sheet and say, hey, this guy's playing well or whatever. But I'm going to go in terms of overall impact. What Micah Hyde has done for the Buffalo Bills deserves some recognition. This is a guy that leads the league in interceptions. He came over as a free agent, kind of an underrated free agent pickup from Green Bay. But what he has done, he has given them a playmaker, a traffic cop, and a center fielder in the middle of that defense. His ability to play the deep third, to come down, to get interceptions off tips and overthrows, he is the perfect fit in this Leslie Frazier / Sean McDermott defense, and he kind of fits the bill of what the Buffalo Bills are becoming, a blue-collar unit that just goes about their business and winning games.
Yeah, he's a ball magnet. He's been outstanding for Buffalo. Another really surprise football team this year, the Buffalo Bills. Micah Hyde's a big part of that. I'm going to go to the Dallas Cowboys, though. You talked about leading the interceptions. DeMarcus Lawrence leads the NFL with 10.5 sacks. He's legitimately got a shot to make a run at the sack record this year, the way he's been playing. They can come in bunches. He beats you with effort. He beats you with technique. He beats you with speed, power. He can do everything. And now he's been suspended a little bit during his career. He's had some injuries. We're seeing him healthy and dominating football games for the Dallas Cowboys up front. He's going to run down 20 sacks or be in that neighborhood. He's my choice for the Defensive Player of the Year at the midway mark.
Oh, he's doing it at the right time. I think this is his contract year.
Hey,
time to get paid.
Yeah.
One way to get paid is to make sure you consistently take down the quarterback. He has done that. Both of these guys are underrated on the national scope, but both guys are playing very, very well. DeMarcus Lawrence has been a critical part of this defense. As this defense is beginning to play better, it has been because he's been a dominant player off the edge.
All right, let's get to the big award here, MVP.
Whew, MVP. Now, I know this is not going to be a very popular opinion because for whatever reason this guy is much maligned. But Alex Smith is mine.
You've been on Alex Smith. You've been on that bandwagon for a long
16 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, I don't know what else you could ask for from a quarterback. You put the ball in the paint and you don't give it away. That's how you win games. They are playing an offense that looks very, very similar to what he did at Utah. Option, RPOs, pushing it down the field. Alex Smith running a little bit. He is doing everything. And I know they're trying to run him out to build him in Kansas City.
Got Mahomes.
All Alex Smith does is win games. It's going to be hard for Pat Mahomes to get on the field if this guy continues to play at this pace.
But what about that pick he threw the other day? Oh, that wasn't him.
That was Tyreek Hill. We're trying to let somebody else put the ball in the paint. Tyreek Hill. Every time I look at Alex Smith, that's what he does.
I know. To me, this is a shot at your candidacy here when you have the MVP of the league and you take the ball out of his hands and put it in Tyreek Hill's hands. I'm just saying. They wouldn't do that to Carson Wentz. They would not do that to my choice.
I hope they throw a halfback pass for a touchdown this week so I can talk about it on Sunday.
Carson Wentz for the Philadelphia Eagles, best record in the NFL. Their lone loss actually coming to Alex Smith on the road and the Kansas City Chiefs in a really, really close football game. But Carson Wentz has been outstanding. You talk about elevating your play from your freshman to your sophomore year. Mm-hmm. They put some weapons around him, Buck, and he is utilizing them. You talk about somebody that's confident, somebody that's poised. The physicality that he has reminds me a lot of Ben Roethlisberger. I think maybe a more explosive version of Ben Roethlisberger, able to shrug off pressure, keep his eyes downfield, and make things happen. I would like him to slide a little bit more. He's taking some big shots. But right now, I think if you look at who's most valuable to their team, the Philadelphia Eagles, their team is run through number 11.
Absolutely, it's run through number 11. Now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to say a comparison that I think he is Cam Newton at his best. Meaning Cam Newton, when Cam Newton's playing at an MVP level, that's kind of what Carson Wentz reminds me of. His ability to run the ball, the physicality, the arm strength, being able to push it down the field. And even though he's not as flashy as Cam, his players absolutely gravitate to him. When you look at the teammates after touchdowns, they know where number 11 is. This guy has been everything and more in terms of what we thought he would be coming into the league, he's terrific. The Philadelphia Eagles have a great one. They'll continue to build around him, and they're going to be in contention consistently as long as he's under center.
All right, that's our midseason awards. Now, again, a lot can change. These names will change. Some of them, maybe all of them, by the time we get.
I mean, Alex Smith will win the award at the end of it. Alex Smith will be right there.
I don't know, man.
Come on, man.
Tyreek Hill.
16
hey,
and 0.
Hey, Tyreek, why don't you?
32 and 0. You have to give it to him. He has 32 touchdowns. No interceptions. He has to get it.
And they're throwing the ball.
Come on, DJ. Go on record. Go on record.
If he has 32 touchdowns and no picks, he will win the MVP.
Okay.
I'm on record. I'm with you on that. I'll take that. All right, let's get to the game of the week. Your Chiefs, Alex Smith, going to
my Chiefs,
the Dallas Cowboys. This is 6-2 Chiefs, 4-3 Cowboys. Let's just talk keys to the game here. How about the Chiefs? The key to them.
Now, I don't know if I'm from North Carolina, so like around
they have a football.
They have farms.
Team there anymore?
They have farms.
College team there.
They have farms.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know about
State.
football.
That's right.
They have farms.
State. Duke's
and,
not bad either.
Well, State is in my hometown, and I don't like it, but it's a big agriculture and technical school, so they like to deal with the pigs. So the key for the Kansas City Chiefs, they got to feed the pigs. And when I look at the pigs, Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, feed the playmakers. The Kansas City Chiefs roll when they get the ball to their playmakers. Spread offense that is built on misdirection and all kinds of trickery.
You guys have pigs down there?
Oh, we got some pigs. We got some hogs.
Yeah.
We got some hogs. You got to get some of their barbecue. But the Kansas City Chiefs also are known for their barbecue. It's a little different in North Carolina.
North Carolina, Kansas. That should be I'm sure Damashek's talking about that.
North Carolina barbecue.
That'll be Damashek.
Damashek has brought that up.
It exceeds what they have in Kansas City. But I like Kansas City barbecue, and they barbecue people when they get the ball to their pigs. Look for them to feed the hogs, the pigs, all those guys. Kelce, Hunt, Hill. If they touch the ball, they are going to make life difficult for the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm just hungry now. I don't even know if I want to make my point.
I mean, I know you always like food, so
a little early.
It's
a little early in the morning. Maybe some bacon, huh?
A little swine.
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to say the key to the game for the Kansas City Chiefs defensively, their front seven, going up against the Dallas Cowboy rush attack. I don't care who is running the football for the Dallas Cowboys. Best offensive line in the NFL. I don't know what the numbers and throw all that stuff out. This is the most physical, and they can be the most dominant offensive line in the NFL. And the Chiefs, I like what they've got up front, Bucky, and how hard they're playing. They need to be at their best in this one. You got to put this on Dak Prescott's shoulders. Eliminate the running game.
Yeah, you have to eliminate the running game. You have to make this about Dak Prescott and what Dak Prescott can do from the pocket. And I know he has played terrific. 15 games with a passer rating over 122 starts. They continue to find a way to get it done. However, when I look at this game for Dallas, it continues to be about the run game. The Dallas Cowboys are a team that the winning recipe for them requires a lot of run, a lot of touches by the running back. Whoever's at running back, we've seen it before when they've had Darren McFadden or Alfred Morris or Zeke Elliott. When they run the football effectively, they are a better team on offense because it allows them to play keep away and keep their defense off the field. More importantly, it allows Dak Prescott to be able to play off play action. He's very comfortable with the play action passing game. Yes, you'll see him go empty and spread it around, but their run game sets the table for so much of what they do offensively and as a team. They need to make sure that number one offensive line blows holes to create opportunities for them to run the ball successfully.
This is how we're kind of sharing a brain here a little bit because I'm talking about this Chiefs defense needs to be able to control this Dallas Cowboy offensive line. You're saying the key for the Cowboys is to be able to win that matchup. So I think we've identified the trenches as being huge in this game. When I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys, I talk about the ball being in Dak Prescott's hands if you're the Chiefs. Dak has to keep a clean sheet. He doesn't need to be dynamic or explosive. I don't know if it's a hockey term or a soccer term, but clean sheet. No turnovers. Don't turn the ball over. He's been really, really good about protecting the football throughout his young career. It needs to keep that rolling against the Kansas City Chiefs because we know the Chiefs aren't going to turn it over. You can't give them extra possessions. So a nice clean game from Dak Prescott will be key for the Cowboys.
I mean, it'd be critical, and more pressure could be on him. Like we talked about the Ezekiel Elliott situation, if he's available or not, Dak Prescott has to make sure he takes care of the ball. And he has to find 88. 88 has to be a factor on the outside. We will see if he can uncover against Marcus Peters. The main thing, and think about Marcus Peters and some of the other guys that they have in that back end, Dak Prescott cannot hang that ball up. Those guys are ball hawks in the back end, particularly Marcus Peters with 17 picks in his career. Dak Prescott needs a clean sheet, as you talk about.
You know, has two thumbs and loved Marcus Peters coming into the draft. That guy right over there.
That's right.
Who's winning this one?
I'm going to go to Kansas City Chiefs. I think Kansas City is good. I think they're really, really kind of trying to hone in and make sure that they're in the right position to win the AFC West. Kansas City gets this one.
I think the Chiefs win as well, and the Eagles darn near wrapping up the NFC East at this point in time.
They may have a parade.
Yeah, no
Philadelphia.
kidding. They're going to be in great shape. All right, for more picks, you can check out the NFL Pick'em Show, which we're a part of, as well as all the other podcasts. That's going to be Saturdays, 8 a.m., 3 p.m., and 11 p.m., and Sunday, 6 a.m. All those times are Eastern. You can see us go through and pick the games. Who are all the other podcasts again, Buck? Who we got here?
Here we got the DDFP, the Dave Damashek football program around the NFL, and then you have Game Theory and Money. I like that name, Game Theory and Money. That goes.
Yeah, no, they do a great job. I've heard Cynthia has just been crushing it.
She's been killing it
on her picks. Yeah, she's been all over it. So check out Game Theory and Money if you haven't seen that new podcast. Cynthia Freeland and Matt Money Smith. It is a good one. All right, Buck. It's time now to push past the expected. Presented by Visa. Let's talk some guys who need to really step their game up in Week 9.
I mean, let's do it. We talk about the quarterback and how important the quarterback is when it comes to winning games. Jameis Winston for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has to step up. And I know Jameis is dealing with an injury to his throwing shoulder, not quite the same. But this week he finally was able to practice. He's going to practice the full week. That should allow him to be better. He needs to connect. This is an offense that we thought was going to be explosive. Deshaun Jackson coming over to team with Mike Evans, the weapons that they have at the tight end, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard. I expected this team to light up the scoreboard. They haven't done it yet, and I think some of that has been a little bit of Jameis being up and down, even though the numbers don't necessarily reflect that. I need Jameis to play like an MVP candidate because if the Bucs are going to get back in the race, it will be because Jameis leads them there.
Yeah, I'm with you. This has been a disappointment to me, this football team. They need to find a way to generate some pressure up front with their defensive line as well.
Oh, we'll get to that. They're terrible.
Not good. All right. I'm going to go with Matt Ryan. Somebody needs to step up. And Matt hasn't played terrible. He's been solid. But you remember Karate Kid, the movie? This is where I wish we could have drops because I would just throw one in here right now.
Mr. Miyagi?
No, I'm just thinking of the guy, the head of the Cobra Kais, the sensei, who yelling, finish him from the sideline, right off the mat there, finish him. They need to finish a drive for the Atlanta Falcons. Move it up and down the field. Can they finish, please?
Put him in a body bag.
Oh, yeah, totally different line, but very good from that movie. Nicely done, Sully.
That's nice.
They got to find a way to finish, and Matt Ryan's got to find a way to get that done.
So they got to find a way to get it done. I think the easiest way to get it done, find number 11, throw the ball to number 11 in the red zone. Number 11 doesn't get enough targets in the red zone. I think that should be the recipe. All Steve Sarkisian has to do, treat it like it's Madden 18. Find 18. Make him your creative player. Give him the ball.
My two favorite things from Karate Kid, by the way, the Cobra Kai that liked to roll his neck. That was an all-time.
By the way, Cobra Kai are actually the good people. Have you seen that theory, conspiracy theory?
No.
They're the good people.
Don't take us down that rabbit hole.
Yep.
Sully.
It is a rabbit hole.
I like
Look
the guy that did the neck roll thing
Uh-huh.
had the curly blonde hair. That dude was great. And I also liked – I swear the guy would have won if they had a real competition. The guy was doing the spinning kicks. There's no way Johnny beats him. There's no way Daniel beats him.
No?
Zero chance.
You're not a vibe.
Daniel's a bully.
The guy was doing like spinning kicks. It was unbelievable.
Daniel's a bully.
It's funny, Mr. Miyagi.
Daniel was like 45 years old in that movie.
That's okay.
All right. What's another? Give me another one here. Who else needs to step up?
Kirk Cousins. The Washington Redskins season is teetering on the brink. I'm going to give him take it up a notch. And I know it hasn't been fair. His people on the outside haven't necessarily stepped up and played to the level. He's been leaning on the running backs and the tight ends to make all the plays in the passing game. Someone on the outside, Terrell Pryor, Josh Dawson, one of those guys has to step up. But Kirk Cousins is going to have to be maybe a little feisty, a little fiery. Talk to those guys a little bit. He's going to have to inspire them. I'm going to need Kirk Cousins from here on out. He's going to have to really churn out those 300-yard games because Washington Redskins offense is better when he's able to put up 3 bills or more in the passing game.
Yeah, Kirk, by the way, in the basement had to go, man, I guess I'll take that 49ers stuff.
Yeah.
That's not going to so much for that.
Just had the kiddo, probably had the onesie.
The Jags aren't bad, though.
Yeah. I like Florida.
Yeah.
You like Florida? I like Florida.
The Jets got a lot of money. There's still a lot of options out there for Kirk. To me, the last person I have to step up, we've been going quarterback. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's go running back. I want to put pressure on a rookie. But I expected a little more from Joe Mixon here for the Cincinnati Bengals. I want to see him step his game up a little bit. Talk about skill sets. Make a case he was the most talented back in last year's draft class. Now, we've seen Kareem Hunt lead the league in rushing. We saw Dalvin Cook, who was ripping it up. We've seen some other guys make some things happen. I want to see him take his game to another level. I know it's a challenge in the backfield. They got a lot of rotation going on there. But I know Joe Mixon has more in him than what we've seen.
Oh, he has more juice. He has more in him. He should be the feature back. This is a guy that has it all. He's a triple threat. He's a big running back that can run inside, outside, can catch the ball in the backfield. Need him to be more productive in terms of being able to put the ball in the paint. They got to give him opportunities. We'll see if it starts this weekend.
Yeah, we will see. All right, that was a lot of fun there, Buck. That was Push Past the Expected, presented by Visa. All right, now let's look ahead here. We've been talking about NFL games. We're going to get to the college stuff here in just a little bit. Let's kind of find that middle ground, which is the NFL draft. I thought we just go back and look at the top 10. I think we have a board here. We can show you what it would look like if the season ended today. Not taking into account all the tiebreakers, but this is what we have, NFL.com. It would be Niners 1, Browns 2, Giants 3, Colts 4, Bucks 5, Raiders 6, Jets 7, the Los Angeles Chargers 8, Bears 9, and Redskins 10. So here's what I wanted to do here, Buck. We're not going to throw players. We don't know who's in the draft. We don't have any idea what that's going to look like. But we do know who these teams are right now, in a direction, maybe a position or a need that they have that they could be going. So why don't we just rip through 1 through 10 here? Why don't you start us off with the Niners at number 1 and maybe a big need for them they could address?
Well, they got Jimmy Garoppolo, so that should take them out the quarterback mix. And really it allows them to go with best player available. I think they need an offensive playmaker. They need a weapon, someone that can change the game, be it at running back, be it at wide receiver. They need someone that can put the ball in the paint. And when you look at this team, I like Carlos Hyde. I like some of the things that he's able to do. I like some of the other players that have been able to mix in at running back. But they need someone that can help them have an identity, much like the Jacksonville Jaguars were able to go and get a guy like a Leonard Fournette that can give them that identity as a physical run squad. The San Francisco 49ers need someone that can make a play, and I think there may be some running backs available that can certainly change the fortunes of the franchise.
Well, you know the rules are. We're not going to talk about underclassmen and who might come out, but unrelated to that, 2 questions for you. In the movie Jerry Maguire, what did Rod Tidwell refer to money as?
I can't remember.
Anybody behind the glass remember?
I can't remember.
He called it the Quan, I believe.
The Quan.
The
Hit
Quan.
the Quan?
Totally unrelated
Yeah, the
question.
dance?
Hit the Quan.
Yeah.
Quan. Okay,
Okay.
so that was first Quan. Okay, that was the first question.
Okay.
Second question. One of my favorite basketball players. He played for the Philadelphia 76ers. He was a 6'5" power forward, was awesome. Now he does TV for TNT.
Okay.
Charles.
Oh, okay,
What was his last name?
Okay, so we can play a little game.
What
We can
was
play a little game. Barkley.
Oh, yeah, Barkley.
So we should hit the Quan with Barkley, and we may be in the
I'm
right.
not saying, I didn't say
in the right.
Nope.
mix.
I'm talking about
That's
college
it.
players.
We're talking about college player.
You said maybe they need a running back, though.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe a
All right,
playmaker.
we'll leave that there. All
Here we
right.
go. Number 2, the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I'm going to go quarterback. I mean, same thing for them since 1999. Got to get it solved.
No, it's too high because right now they're sitting number 2. You know they don't like to pick quarterbacks this high.
They have to. With all the grief that they've got.
How many
is
more
the
quarterbacks
year.
can they add? They keep adding them
Have
every
to do
draft.
it. They've been
Every draft they've
kicking this
added.
can down the road, though. Not with a high pick. Look, he was their 4th pick last year, Kaiser?
Yeah.
They got 1 million picks.
Cody Kessler the year
You
before.
can make a
3.
case they should probably take a couple of them.
Man.
Do the Redskins thing. Take 1 in the 1st, come back, take 1 in the 3rd. Or
Take 2.
Go, yeah.
Double up.
Keep going. You're not going to be relevant until they get that position solved. I was on board with saying, okay, hey, let's try and get some infrastructure built here before we drop in the quarterback. But now's the time. You need to find one, and I think this draft will have some good ones. Has to be a quarterback.
I guess it just depends on what those quarterbacks do when they look at the board. You know, those quarterbacks have to make a decision on. It's the lottery.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do I want to go to Cleveland? Do I look good in orange? Do I look good in orange?
Well, how about the Giants, Buck, number 3?
Oh, I think the Giants are a team that also needs a quarterback. When I look at Eli Manning, you know, he's nearing the end. He's nearing the end. And that light at the end of the tunnel is a train. And so I think they need to find someone that can be a young franchise quarterback, someone that can really take the baton from Eli and lead them back to the promised land. I think a quarterback is one of the top priorities for the New York Giants.
Yeah, I think a quarterback would make some sense. By the way, I was trying to think about this. Where Troy Aikman go to college?
Ooh, you know what? That would be a nice spot. That was a nice spot. You know, because they have nice gold helmets.
Yeah.
They have like the powder blue
What
uniform.
was the name of that school again?
UCLA.
Yeah, Aikman, what position did he play there?
You know, he was a quarterback.
Was he? Oh, interesting.
You know?
Did not know that.
There's some quarterbacks there.
Okay, it's
UCLA.
unrelated.
Unrelated.
Let's go to the Colts here, picking number 4. A lot of areas. This is not a good football team. It's not a good roster. Could go in a lot of different areas.
You know what, DJ? This is a pick that I just got word. I think it's a buy one, get one free. I think we may give you 2 picks.
Really?
With this. We may give you 2, may give you a bonus pick. They are so bad, they need multiple picks.
I get a lucky.
Yeah, it's coupon day. It's like coupon day at the grocery store.
They could use an extra pick.
Double coupon
I
day.
think they're going to get one. I'm going to say edge rusher for this team. You go in a lot of different directions. Edge rusher, though, is something that they really haven't had a dominant guy since you look at the departure of Robert Mathis.
Mathis and
White
Freeney.
That they need to get back to those days. So finding a big-time edge rusher, man, that would be huge for this team.
Yeah, it would be huge. They need to get back to being able to get some stops, and a lot of it is predicated on number 12 coming back. If Andrew Luck is able to come back.
And is he ever coming back?
I mean, I don't know. This is a significant injury. I think it's time that they have to investigate that. That's a bigger question. But let's say he comes back and he plays to the level that he's played at. Say their offense gets on track. The big thing when the Indianapolis Colts were at their best, their defense was a team that played downhill, meaning they played with a lead. They were able to really throw those fastball pitches off the edge. They don't have anybody. They have knuckleballers off the edge. They need someone that can get home to the quarterback.
All right, let's go to number 5 here. Tampa picking 5th.
I think it's the same story. The Bucks, 7 sacks this season. They only have 7 sacks in 2017. I don't know much.
That's a half for the Jags.
Man, I mean, come on. Like the Jags have 32, 33 sacks. They have 7. I know they had Noah Spence, and they've drafted him a couple years ago. They need to find someone that can be a dominant playmaker off the edge, someone that can get home, someone that can hunt. In that division, Drew Brees, Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, you got to be able to knock those guys off the grass. You got to knock them off the spot. They don't have anybody outside of Gerald McCoy that can consistently do that. They need to find a pass rusher.
All right, let's move to number 6 here with the Raiders. And when I look at the need for this football team, I think linebacker. Having some linebackers that can run and cover and can be difference makers, that can be blitzers, and just create some splash plays for this defense. They need a little spice here to this group. And you can make a case, okay, they've tried to address the secondary the last couple drafts. I think that second level of the defense, you look at the great defenses in history, have somebody patrol in the middle there, middle linebacker that can be a dominant football player, a game changer. That'd be a big need here for this football team.
I feel like Khalil Mack is at an indoor play space and he doesn't have any friends. I feel like he needs a playmate. Someone that he can play with, someone that can help him do something off the edge. Because right now, he's a one-man show. They need someone on their front line, a linebacker that can rush the passer, that can also be a stopper against the run. Someone has to help him out. I know they brought over Navarro Bowman. They need more people.
That teeter-totter is not so fun by yourself.
No, it's not, because he just stays down.
Doesn't really work.
Stays down.
No good. All right, let's go to the next team here.
The New York Jets.
Jets picking 7.
Look, I love Josh McCown and what he's been able to do. He's 38 years old. He has played. He's exceeded all expectations.
They're in almost every game.
I think this is a
Very
nice
competitive
swan song. But they need to find a quarterback. When I look at Hackenberg and Bryce Petty and what those guys were doing in the preseason, I'm just not confident that either one of those guys is going to emerge as a viable option at quarterback. Let's see if we can find an answer. The next generation at that position at quarterback. See if we can find someone for Gang Green. They need a young franchise quarterback to build around.
All right, Chargers picking 8. Feel like the offensive tackle has been a need for them for a long time.
Forever.
Last year, they went and got 2 offensive linemen, really both interior guys. So Forrest Lamp, unfortunately, hurt in training camp. Dan Feeney played well the other day at guard. Now you got those 2 young guys. You could add a stud young left tackle to kind of grow up together. This offensive line could be one of the better offensive lines in the league in short order.
Absolutely. They need to find someone on the outside that can protect Phillip Rivers that also has the ability to help them run the football. If they're able to shore up that offensive line, you think about the capital that they've committed. Last year, they had 2 picks that they committed to those interior positions. Now, if they can find an offensive tackle, I think they're on their way.
All right, the Bears, Buck. This one's obvious.
Oh, it's obvious. They need to help their quarterback with more weapons on the outside. They need a wide receiver. I know a couple years ago they went and got Kevin White. We thought Kevin White was going to solve some of those woes. He has not been able to get on the field. At some point, you have to move on. Mitch Trubisky is the future. Well, the future needs someone that can help him. He needs someone on the outside that can make plays. They need a pass catcher and a playmaker.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Got to have somebody on the outside there. I like that offensive line. I think they've got the quarterback that they like. Got some tight ends. Need some wide receivers. Washington Redskins, I think we stay at that receiver position. Josh Doxson experiment hasn't really worked out. We saw the guys that left last year in Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. Terrell Pryor still play for the Redskins?
I mean, he's somewhere out there.
I think he's on the roster.
He dresses out and he goes to practice, but on game day he is MIA.
Yeah, he's all about getting the ball to the backs and the tight ends in this offense. Need a big play guy on the outside. I like Crowder and what he brings to the table. He's a nice compliment.
I love him as the slide. He should be your number 3, but they need to find a number 1 and a number 2, someone that can really occupy those positions on the outside. Kirk Cousins has been able to do it with smoke and mirrors thus far this season. Running backs and tight ends. They need a playmaker, someone that people are scared of.
All right, NFL Draft 2018. That is easily the first full chunk that we've allotted on the show to the 2018 draft. And, Bucky, felt good.
Yeah, it felt good to talk about it.
Well, Bucky, I'll tell you what, one of the cool things NFL.com is doing this year, every week featuring a different player, and it's kind of our Back to Campus series that we've been doing, following some of the best stories in college football. This week, It's a fascinating one. NFL.com/Calvin Ridley is where you can go, and you can learn all about Alabama star wide receiver Calvin Ridley, and we're stoked to have him joining us here on the show right now. Calvin, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. This week, LSU week. Let's start there real quick, and then we're going to get into your story. But how has this week of practice been for you guys as you prepare for one of your rivals?
We're actually having a great week of practice. Everybody's tuned in and locked in, so we're looking forward to Saturday. We're going to give it our best.
Calvin, this has been quite a journey for you. Having the opportunity to be around you this summer at the opening really revealed a lot about your preparation in terms of getting ready to not only be a dominant player at the collegiate level, but as a pro. What are some of the things that you've learned during your time at Alabama that will help you at the next level and beyond?
Just the way we practice, how to come out with the right mentality every day to give it your best effort, to get better. So I feel like, with me learning that every day in practice, and I could just go into the game and me being around a bunch of great players who come out and practice hard every day, it just helps to be a pro, come out and with a great attitude every day to get better.
What is the standard inside that receiver room, by the way? All the receivers that have come through Alabama over the last decade, you get into the Julio Joneses, you were there with Amari Cooper, and you're kind of next in line. Is it explained to you? You go through the recruiting process, but once you step on campus and you get in that wide receiver room, is there like, hey, this is how we do things here?
Yeah. We obviously had great wide receivers here. Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, but with those guys been playing here, I feel like, we have to play to a standard. There's a standard here to play to, is to go out there and be physical, make explosive catches and make big plays. So I feel like, our receiver coach, Coach Locks, he expects us to, go out there and play good, play how you practice. So I feel like all the guys in that room should be able to go out there and make big plays.
You talk about Coach Locks, but I want to kind of hone in on Coach Saban. Coach Saban has done a great job of helping guys get to the next level. When you were making that decision coming out of high school, did you believe that going and playing under a coach like that would help you kind of maximize who you were as a player?
Of course. I really wasn't thinking of NFL coming out of high school, coming into college, but I was just thinking I want to come to Alabama to win games. Obviously we do that. And I just came here to, be better as a man and as a player. And thank God that, I'm putting myself in a position, to be able to go to the NFL and, do good things and people noticing it.
So much of what is going on now in college is about the Final Four and going to the playoffs. And I know Coach Saban has said that he doesn't pay attention to the rankings. But as a player, do you guys pay attention to when the top four comes out and you guys aren't ranked number one? Does that bother you at all, or you just kind of focus on the next game?
I try not to let it bother me. I was in a hot tub when it came out. I was actually kind of watching it. But, it's good to be in the top four. I'm not, too mad about not being number one, but it kind of makes you feel a little salty when I thought we were going to be number one, but, it doesn't really bother me as long as we're in it some way. You got to play and you got to win at the end of the day, so it doesn't bother me too much.
Well, look, every day in practice you have an opportunity to go against some great defensive backs, and one of the guys that obviously there's a lot of attention on is Minkah Fitzpatrick. What are those battles like on a daily basis when you face off against Minkah?
They go back and forth. Minka's a great DB. He that's one person I know who comes to practice and he's going to give it his all every day. I'm going to give him all day. So, when we come out there, we come out to get better, and that shows up in the game.
This is the biggest question you're going to have to answer. It's a challenging one, but you got to give me one Lane Kiffin story. I've heard so many different Lane Kiffin stories from his time rolling through. One of the ones I read about in your article on NFL.com, again, NFL.com/Calvin Ridley, you could find it, was that when the defense would start chirping a little bit against Lane, you guys can't get a first down against us in practice, he just puts you in and go deep and throw vertically. So, A, is there truth to that story? And B, is there another Lane Kiffin story you can share with us?
But that is true. The defense, we compete against each other so much. Sometimes they getting the best of us that day, and sometimes we're getting them. So, Kiffin did do things like that. But if I can think, there's a lot, but I really just can't remember right now.
Let me ask you this.
Kiffin is real laid back, funny, and a great guy. So.
We'll get to Coach Dayball here in a second, but when you guys are watching film, and I know because we studied all 22, we're both former scouts, so we're getting ready for the draft process. We're watching all 22, and you see him throw his hands up for a touchdown before the ball was released. When you're in the film room as an offense or in your receiving room, you guys laugh at that he's throwing the hands up before the ball was even released.
Yeah, because we practice against the scout team, and it pretty much be like the same look in practice. When we see a guy comes down, we know what we got. And then even if I'm not in and we call a play, I can pretty much do the same thing because once you practice it so much and you see it and they're in that perfect coverage, I mean the play is perfect, so you know it's gonna be a touchdown. So I can even do it myself.
So now, we had talked in the offseason, we talked about Kerry Colbert being very, very influential in terms of helping you, showing you some things or whatever. So obviously, I know that you pay close attention to the NFL game. When you look at the NFL game, are there any receivers that you maybe pattern yourself after, or you look at to try and steal some tips and clues?
I definitely steal tips. Moves and all type of stuff from Amari Cooper, Antonio Brown, and Emmanuel Sanders. I really like those three receivers. I mean, those guys, they got a lot of good body language, strong hands and fast, and their route running is, awesome. So I really, I like those three guys. I really feel like I can model my game after them, and, they make really explosive plays, and that's what I'm trying to do for my team and wherever I go, wherever I'm at.
It's funny when I studied your game, and I've studied.
AB.
Oh, yeah, nothing wrong with AB.
Yeah, when I've studied your game, you kind of reminded me of a guy that is no longer playing, but is kind of from South Florida, lives in South Florida now, Reggie Wayne from Indianapolis. And I actually talked to Reggie about that. I think it's just something about the way you run routes, how smooth and fluid and natural it looks, that it just reminds me of how Reggie played for years and years with the Colts. Have you seen Reggie play at all? Can you see some of those similarities at all?
Yeah, I can see it. I watched the highlights and I watched a little bit of the game, and I definitely can see it. He obviously was a great wide receiver, and for you to say I'm out of my game, like I look like him is is great. He's a great receiver, and I just want to do great things myself.
I'll tell you what, another one that when I watch you and study you, Stephon Diggs with the Minnesota Vikings, I see some similarities between you guys. Again, the route running is exceptional, and just that explosiveness that you bring to the table. Have you seen any of Stephon Diggs? And let me, before I get to that, we talk about everything you've done well. When you self-evaluate, Calvin, what's the one area you look at and say, okay, man, I can do this a little bit better?
Definitely all phases of my game, but definitely I just want to be more aggressive with my sticks, at the line of scrimmage, just to get a lot more separation going, and the top of my routes, just to snap them off better, and my hands, definitely with my hands, just to catch better, and just make sure I'm grabbing the ball and I'm make sure it's secured and I'm getting back upfield.
Well, Kevin, one of the things that we do here is we do a thing called the 3 H's. So we're going to ask you, what is your greatest highlight? What is your greatest hardship, and who is your hero? So when you think about your career at Alabama and even before then, what has been the greatest highlight of your football playing career?
Definitely when we won that championship. That was the first time I won anything in the sport, really. So that was one of the greatest feelings. We worked so hard that whole year, to finish in a great way. That's awesome.
How about your greatest hardship, something you've had to overcome, reading about your story and your upbringing? I know you've had some hardship in life. Could be on the field, could be off the field. What's the greatest hardship you've had to overcome?
Oh, yeah, definitely when I was in foster care, me and my brothers. I mean, to tell you the truth, it wasn't as bad as foster care. It's not that bad. Once you get there, it might be bad. But then, you meet some good people. You get around a lot of people you love, and, it turns out to be fun. So, I mean, that was, one of the toughest times of my life. But, I still had fun.
Who is your biggest hero?
Definitely got to see my mom. She's been through a lot, and she's very strong, and she never gave up on nothing. She definitely is my hero.
Is your mom, by the way, reading up on her in this article, I had a track background a little bit. Can mom still roll? Mom still got that speed?
A little bit. I'll give it 5 years ago she did. She still can run 5 years ago. She can run fast, too.
Speaking of running fast, as we're wrapping up here, man, we talked about those rankings. The team that's ahead of you, you got a little connection to that squad down there with your little bro down there with Georgia. Did you have any conversation with him after those rankings came out? Any lines thrown your way?
I did. I called him just to mess with him because I like to talk to him about ball and stuff. But I called him and he said, man, this is exactly what he said. I'm not worried about those rankings. He said, we just trying to keep winning. And I said, that's how we feel over here, too. I mean, I'm telling you to keep it up, but I just like to mess with him, see what he would say. But, he was positive about it, so it's good.
He's got Kirby Smart's Saban guys.
Carbon copies.
Put those blinders on. Don't take that poison. Hey.
But no, they're doing a great job over there, and I'm really happy for them.
Well, I think we're all going to see each other because I think me and Bucky might be planning to go to that SEC championship game. See the Ridley family down there. Maybe get a chance to say hello to your mother. And the good news is it'll be a Saturday, so Chick-fil-A will be open, Calvin.
Yes, it will be.
Hey, thank you so much again for joining us here. If you haven't, please go check it out. NFL.com/Calvin Ridley. What a stud. Hey, Calvin, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all.
What an impressive kid, Calvin Ridley. Bucky, you've known him for a little while now, and just the group of receivers we've had on the show this year, it's an impressive group.
Awesome player, but even better kid. He's a guy that gets it. He does things the right way. I think he's going to have outstanding success at the collegiate level and also at the next level when he gets there.
Yeah, it'll be a fun player to follow throughout this process. All right, this used to be my least favorite part of the show, but this week I'm going to just soak it in and enjoy it. Last week's standings from our college picks, it was a 10-1 week for me, Bucky. I don't know if it's ever happened before. I don't anticipate it'll ever happen again. Kent 7-4, Sully 6-5. Bucky, you went bold. I admire that about you. 4-7 week, and you helped me climb out of last place, albeit probably just for 1 week.
Yeah, it cost me. Now I'm stuck. I'm mired in the cellar, and I can do one or two things. I can sit and sulk about it, or I can find a way to get better.
Get back on that horse.
I can be bold. I know I submitted some picks prior to the show. I maybe need to reconsider.
Some changes.
I'm just saying maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
See the overall Kent still commanding lead. There, Sully's second. I'm at third, and Bucky's rounding up the pack. But again, there's no way I can have a 10-1 week again. I'm destined to fall back down. Let's go through this week. LSU, Alabama. Speaking with Calvin Ridley, is there any discussion here? It's Alabama.
It is Alabama, and they do a good job. This game will always be tight. It'll be a tightly contested
for a half
game. But, there's some talent there. I'm going to go with Alabama. I don't think this is one where LSU can do it. I just worry about their quarterback play, and I don't think their quarterback play will be up to snuff. LSU won't be able to close the gap on mighty Bama.
Yeah, I like Bama at home in this one, potentially big. I think close for a half, and then they pull away. The guys behind the glass are with us on that, unanimous for Alabama. All right, this is our two-pointer this week. Bedlam, Oklahoma State. Who do you like here, Buck?
I'm going with the Pokes. I'm going with Oklahoma State, and I don't really have a strong reason as to why. Both of these teams have been up and down. I know Oklahoma State's defense has played pretty well in spots. They still give up a lot of points, but that's just kind of Big 12 football. I'm going to go with the Pokes. I think the Pokes find a way to win Bedlam at home.
I think Baker Mayfield enjoys going on the road, enjoys a hostile environment. We saw what he did against Ohio State. I think this is another poster game for him. I think he's got a chance to get in that Heisman discussion. We've talked about Bryce Love being in there. He gets hurt a little bit. And we see J.T. Barrett throw his hat in the ring. Saquon Barkley, not a huge rushing week last week. Big kickoff return. I think Baker Mayfield makes a statement in this game and vaults right near the top of that Heisman list. I like Oklahoma to win this one. Sully's with me, and Kent is with you. So we're split 2-2 on that. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, the 2-point game of the week. Virginia Tech at Miami. Ooh. Reggie comes in here every week, and he knows they're winning. Reggie Wayne's excited they're winning. But I sense just being around Reg a little bit, he knows this loss is coming, Buck.
Oh, I think he knows it's coming. If it doesn't come this week, it's coming next week. I see Kent throwing up the U in the glass, but I tell you, the U has been very, very lucky because if they go to the wire with the North Carolina squad that is absolutely awful, doesn't bode well. I'm going with Va Tech in this one.
Yeah, we all went Virginia Tech.
VPI.
Kent lone wolfing his alma mater.
Wow.
Good for him. Virginia Tech's always played Miami close, too, historically.
Hey, I like
VPI.
Bring
VPI.
Yeah.
Bring lunch pail, baby.
Virginia
Let's go
Polytechnic.
Hokies.
That's right. Back in the day.
Come on, man. All right, Clemson, NC State. Another good game in the ACC here, Buck. I don't even spend much time on this one.
No, we absolutely don't. You already know how I feel about that team in red.
You never will pick NC State. You
never.
Although you're smart not to pick them.
Come on, Textile Bowl right here. This is the Textile Bowl. Clemson, North Carolina State. I'm going with Clemson. I think Clemson gets back on track to get the quarterback back. It's about time for them to kind of turn it up a notch. If they're going to make that run to go into the playoffs, we need to see them start playing better. I think it starts this week against NC State.
All right, we got to get out of here. Let's go rapid fire through the rest of these. Arizona, USC. That's a late night game here in the Pac-12. Big, really, for the Pac-12 South is what it looks like. We have Bucky, myself, and Sully going USC. Kent is the lone wolf with Arizona. Penn State, Michigan State. Penn State across the board for everybody. Stanford, Washington State. Bucky, Stanford, me, Stanford, Sully, Stanford. Kent is alone again, Washington State. Kent could pull ahead big this week. South Carolina, Georgia in the SEC. Georgia across the board, they're rolling. South Carolina is a better football team this year.
Not a lot of upsets, huh?
Not a lot. Iowa State at West Virginia. That's a sneaky.
Wow, everyone going the other way.
West Virginia for me and Bucky. West Virginia for Kent. Sully, Lone Wolf's it with Iowa State.
Come on.
Sully. Central Florida, SMU. You guys are all Central Florida. Bucky, Sully, and Kent. Not me. I'm going with the next head coach of the Texas A&M Aggies.
Oh, no. You're close.
Oh, yeah.
You're close.
SMU.
No cigar.
Chad Morris.
Oh, Chad Morris going to Texas A&M?
He's a Texas high school coach, right? Who knows the state really well, who's been at Clemson, been around explosive offense, which they want to see there.
I get it.
Why not?
I get it.
This is his game. This is his resume.
That's cool. I used to like when Texas A&M and Nebraska would get together every now and then. It's kind of like that. Going home again.
Wow.
Scott Frost.
Scott
Frost, come back home.
By the way, we did role play a couple weeks ago for those that listen to the pod, and Bucky was a great Tom Osborne trying to convince Scott Frost.
He's coming home.
I would like to apologize because I erroneously said that Scott Frost would take Tennessee.
But you know Florida would come over.
I didn't know Florida was open. So he's going
open?
to Florida. He's not going to Nebraska. That's a no-brainer.
He has to come back home.
Zero chance.
Come on.
No chance. I'll tell you what, if Scott Frost goes to Nebraska, steak dinner.
Steak dinner?
Yes.
Ooh,
I like this.
You like that?
Steak
Yeah.
dinners.
That ain't happening.
I'm going to get him at the combine.
Yeah, we'll do it at the combine.
I'll get him a big one.
That way,
Can we at least
I got some per diem I can offset.
Can you get a baked potato for us to split behind the glass?
No.
At the very least?
No, it's not happening. All right, that's going to do it for us here today, Bucky. Again, remind the folks how many days a week they can catch us.
3 days, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Audio pods on Sunday and Tuesday. Thursday, you can catch us just like you're catching us now on video.
And if you're listening to us right now, you can check the video out of this episode, NFL.com/MTS video. Or NFL Now. You'll also find it at youtube.com/NFL. All right, that's going to do it for us today. A beefy, chunky episode. Got to a lot. Thanks to Calvin Ridley for joining us. Great to visit with him. This has been Move the Sticks, presented by the Ford F-Series. Catch you next time.
Thanks for downloading Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks. For more, go to NFL.com/podcasts.